There really is no place like it in the world. The world's most famous racetrack, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 2.5 miles of high-speed, high-action racing. And we're here to bring it to you live. The 1UP Superstar Series is back for the inaugural Brickyard 400 here at IMS. Alongside me in the booth is Duke Antzak, and we've had some good history here. We had our own duel for victory here in another racing division. We've had some good moments here. So I'll ask you this: What is it about this track that brings you the most joy in seeing a race here? Is it the history? Is it the action? What is it about this legendary oval?
Oh boy, it's just the combination of it all. It's always such a spectacle to have a race at such a historic racetrack. I mean, I've always said that this track is the most famous racetrack in the world, hands down. Everybody knows about it. It's the original big sporting event. It was from the Indy 500 is from before even the Super Bowl, and it's just that this track has a certain aura. It's that feeling you get when you walk in the gates that makes it just so special. So I'm so excited to see these guys race at this track and add their own chapter of history to a book that is ever growing and is extremely large already.
With 42 drivers ready to start today's Brickyard 400, we can give you the full starting lineup. Andres Molina, the road course expert, gets his first career pole position, and it comes on an oval, funny as it may seem. And Nitro National Series championship contender Sam Denota, making a one-off in the Superstar Series, lines up alongside him in the second position. Henry Thomas and Henry Brown, the rookie, line up alongside each other on row 2, 3rd, and 4th. Jeff Bolton put in a surprising lap to lock down the 5th starting spot. And looking for the rest of the field, we had two drivers have the start at the rear of the field. Daniel Bouchard had to bring in a backup car after crashing in qualifying. And after his DNF yesterday in the Nitro National Series race, Jake McMillan didn't want to take any chances with his engine. He swapped it out for a fresh one, and he too will start at the rear of the field. So that being said, anybody want to see up front for this one? Because there's a lot of big stories up at the front. You got Stephen Hunter looking for victory after a disappointing outing at Kentucky, finishing second to Jared Polansky. You got a lot of big names. Who's going to shine here at Indy?
Well, this track with the long straightaways, there's a lot of on-throttle time. So it's going to come down to who has the fastest car, who has the car that's able to get through the straightaways the best, and whoever's able to draft the most. So you have to look at the cars that have been fast at the big tracks this season to see. But I'm really curious to see what that 00 car can do in the race. Of course, there was a really good qualifying time there, but we're used to seeing him do pretty well on Saturdays. So the same paint scheme looks like a rocket ship, of course. So I expect that car could be up front today as well.
So that being said, the cars are lined up on the grid for this historic day in the 1UP Superstar Series, and we are ready to bring you the action live from the legendary Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the inaugural Brickyard 400, and the green flag is next. With Andres Molina on pole position, Sam Denota alongside him, the field's getting ready, the fans are on their feet, and the 1UP Superstar Series inaugural Brickyard 400 is underway. The green flag is out across the outer bricks to start the first lap. We are underway at Indianapolis. Andres Molina gets a nice lead. He's getting pushed from Henry Thomas, and they will both clear Denota going into turn 1, heading onto the short chute between turns 1 and 2. They're going to get to some really high speeds at this place, so if you want to stay tucked up behind the lead car if you can, and then power it off turn 2 down the long back straightaway.
Yeah, in this long train of cars, what's really going to be the main thing. Look at Sam Denota. He had a really good run coming off that corner. He made the move down below Henry Thomas going into turn 3, and he's going to be side by side with him, allowing Andres Molina to pull away just a little bit through the short chute.
And have a look at Nick Ortiz. He started back in the 6th position. He's already making a move for 4th in the number 91, and he's right on the back bumper of Thomas for the 3rd position as Thomas makes a move on Denota. Molina leads the first lap here at Indianapolis, and the field roars off in the turn 1 once again. Thomas gets underneath Denota for 2nd, and it looks like he'll try and clear him. It's not going to work, though. Denota gets a run up the high side, but now he's going to succumb to Thomas, and now Nick Ortiz with help from Kevin Carter, who started all the way back in 8th. So a lot of cars making big gains early, but you see guys like Bolton and Brown dropping a little bit at the open.
Yeah, Yeah, it looks like that inside lane is where you're going to want to be today. Of course, you know, it's the shorter way around. There's not a banking variance here at Indianapolis, you know, so you don't want to be on the outside through the corners. And Sam Donotto just learned that the hard way. He lost 3 positions after gaining one to Henry Thomas there. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting game to play today. You know, who has the bottom and then who get the bottom and who's able to stay there and all that. It's just going to be almost like a big game of chess, you know. And Sam Donotto is still falling back, getting stuck on the outside. I wonder if that car is tight on the entry of the corners because everybody is eating him up going through there.
He's making a move on Stephen Hunter. Hunter started in 9th. He's currently running in the 5th position, but Donotto is putting him under fire for that spot. They go side by side down the short chute between 3 and 4. Donotto gets the spot back. You'll see a lot of passing here at Indy. These cars are very good at sucking up to the draft behind their fellow competitors. It allows them to get such a good run down the front straight. You can see Bobo Jones in the 86 getting a big draft behind the 2 side-by-side Toyotas in front of him. And Donotto will sail it off in the turn 1 clear of Hunter for 5th, and we can look back up at 2nd, where Henry Thomas has cemented himself nicely ahead of Nick Ortiz and Kevin Carter in 4th.
Yeah, look at that, you know, and Andres Molina really pulled away from this group. As soon as they got side by side behind him, he was able to just drive away because they punched such a big hole through the air when they're side by side like that. So the 71 car is looking really, really good right now, about a second ahead of everybody else. But now they're all kind of settled down. You know, the race has started. We're 4 laps in, almost 5, and they're just starting to spread out a little bit. They're starting to take it easy. You're not going to gain any more positions like you would on a restart at this point, so you might as well start working it. And then it looks like the 8 car is down less than a second behind now, so he is starting to gain a little bit of time back that he lost while he's side by side.
This reminds me of our great battle here many years ago. I do remember coming off better in that situation, but thankfully neither of us are wrestling these race cars at 227 miles per hour at the end of the straightaway. Diving it off into turn 3, we've got Nick Ortiz making the move on Henry Thomas for 2nd position, and he takes it. The move to 91 up to P2 after starting him back in 6th. He's gained 4 spots already, and he's looking to track down Andres Molina, see if Ortiz can become the inaugural winner here at Indy.
Yeah, that 91 car is like a powerhouse right now. I mean, he lost some time to the leader that lap because he had to make the pass, but that car has driven by a lot of people. You know, he started in 6th place. He's up to 2nd now, so definitely the biggest mover up to this point, I'd say, and he's really making it happen in that Ford Mustang.
He's back by about 1.4 seconds on Molina, who continues to pull away from the field. We expect to see this on the road courses, not so much on the ovals, although he did get a top 5 at Las Vegas when we were there. He finished 3rd that day. So he's proven he can get it done on these ovals, and he's looking to shine on the biggest stage of them all here at Indianapolis. And so far, Molina is putting the rest of the field to shame as he extends. He actually lost 0.3 of a second, but that's still a big lead. As we see Ben McDonald coming out of the pits, he must have had an issue, maybe a flat tire or something at the start. You can see that right rear looking a bit soft, but he does exit the pits. He will come out in 42nd place, a lap off the lead. Tough break for the Vento Motorsports driver, but he's got to take solace in seeing that his other driver, Henry Thomas, currently running in 3rd right now.
Yeah, you know, and that's just unfortunate to see that because this car really, it's got to be pretty similar to how that 8 car is handling today. And, you know, obviously the 8 car is running in 3rd place right now. So you want to you want to have a good day when your teammate's having a good day, because that means the whole team is pushing. But a little bit of a mechanical issue, a fluke, I'd say, for that 12 car. Absolutely.
And with Jake McMillan starting dead last, he's already made up several spots on the grid, but it'll take a lot for him to have a solid run. Thomas is doing well in 3rd, but McDonald now a lap off the pace, and seemingly his hopes of winning the Brickyard 400 have been dashed early on lap number 7. But here we go. Thomas and Carter down in the turn 3. This is going to be a battle for 3rd. Carter backs out of it and lets Thomas have the spot. Maybe he can get a run down the front straightaway. They come off turn 3, heading into 4. And back up front, Nick Ortiz closing the gap on Molina in in the
Oh, yeah.
71. That gap has shrunk, and now he's certainly within drafting range to get up to perhaps 230 as they head off into turn 1.
Yeah, this is really good for the 91. He's in the draft right now. He's just waiting to get the run at the right time. You want to get the run through this turn 1 and turn 2 section here, and then you want to carry that momentum down the backstretch. We'll see what the 91 can do. He's looking really good. He might be able to make a move here before he gets to turn 3. We'll see. No, he's backed off a little bit there. He's not able to make the move this time. You know, you want to be patient. It's similar to Pocono, where you just have to be patient. You can't be so aggressive that you're risking your own car, because it's a long race, it's a long track, and you have to wait for the right moment to make your move. And that, you know, is probably why the Molina has been so good today. You know, it's one of those things where this track, even though it is an oval, it's very much so an oval, but it's similar to a road course in that there's a lot of finesse at this track. There's a lot of, you have to nail the line every single time. There's not a lot of room for you to gain or lose time with just your line, and in order to make a pass, you have to be in the draft, and you have to make sure that you're patient with all of that. So in that sense, this track is similar to a road course. And, you know, that's probably why the 71 is doing so good today. But we're watching that 91 car chase him down. And then, of course, the 8 and the 70 have both caught up to the pack, to these leaders as well.
The leader being Andres Molina, an average speed of over 190 miles per hour. This is an electric Brickyard 400 so far. We're 11 laps into the inaugural race here at Indianapolis. And Molina has built a half-second lead over Ortiz. Actually, Thomas has now gotten back past the 91 to move himself into second place. Look at the fast lap. Sam Donato with a flyer, putting in, 46.59. That's over a 10 faster than anyone else in this race. So kudos to him in that 00. This is only his second start of the season, remember, and the first was at the Pensacola 500. So he's really sticking out for these marquee events, and he's really shining in all of them.
Yeah, and look where he is on the track right now. He's following 3 cars that were single file. I'd bet you he got a big, huge draft down both ends of this track and made it happen. And right now we've got some crazy battling for third place. Side by side, coming through the corners. You gotta look out going into the corner. You don't want to send it too hard, because you will end up in the crash if there is one coming through this corner.
Here comes Ortiz. He's making a move on Thomas for second position now, and Hunter tries to make a move on Donato, but he cuts him off, going down in the turn 3. This is going to let Molina scoot out of the way to a healthy lead. But Ortiz is back by Thomas, and almost contact between the 8 and the 70 of Carter. But Thomas defends that position well. He holds on to third, and he leads 3 hungry Toyotas behind him in the battle. Actually, 4 Toyotas if you count Jared Polansky back there as well. So Thomas leading 4 Toyotas who all want his third place round.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be bad news for the 8 car, because he had 3 cars stacked up right to his inside, and they were going to go by him like a road train. But he was able to make a little bit of a dangerous move, but he was able to hold on to his position. It's pretty early in this race to be pushing hard enough that move is unsuccessful as a block, but later in the race, people won't be given as much. They'll be just taken from you. So you got to be careful sometimes, but the 8 car remains in third place nonetheless.
So Ortiz and Thomas continue to chase down Molina, who has a healthy lead over them. They come down the front stretch, and Molina's led every lap today. This, I believe, has been the most laps Molina has led in a single one of Superstar Series event. Remember, he led 12 laps at Monza earlier this season, where he finished runner-up to Stephen Hunter. He dominated that race, but just a slight turn of events kept him from victory lane that day. It was the last lap pass, as a matter of fact, that kept him out of victory lane that day. So he's doing a very good job at hanging on to this lead right now. As Thomas goes underneath Ortiz once again for second, and they go side by side into 3. This is going to allow Thomas to get by. Yes, these two have been going at it for quite some time, and I'm frankly amazed that they've managed to hold on to Molina as much as they have.
Yeah, for sure, you know, and I think that just comes from the help that's behind them, you know, pushing them back up through the straightaways. And of course, it's not like they're going laps on end, side by side, punching that big hole. So they're able to keep up a little bit because the 71 has absolutely no help out there as far as the draft is concerned. And the other thing is that he's burning a lot of fuel while he's out there as well. So all of these things are just, little factors that go into who's going to win this race in the end. And we're only 15 laps in already.
This shouldn't come as a surprise to us that Molina's leading. Remember, the Kings Motorsports foursome took 4 of the top 6 spots in practice. So all 4 of them are very fleet in this race. As Polansky's up to 7th, Nelson Reeves is hanging around the top 15, and Roberto Crown Jr. has made his way up into the 10th position. Good run from all 4 of them as we enter the second quarter of this race. Owen Hunter almost scrapes the side of Donato. Remember, Donato's not used to racing a lot of these guys. He's used to racing on Saturdays. So guys like Stephen Hunter are not afraid to rough him out of the way, as now Jared Polansky tries to make a move on him for the 6th position.
Yeah, well, he's seen his fair share of Jared Polansky on Saturdays. Not quite so much anymore, but he knows what's up there. And we've got a battle for the lead here. The 8 car of Henry Thomas has finally caught up to the bumper of Andres Molina, who is leading this thing. And this is going to be very fascinating with the 91 back there. We'll see if the 91 tries to help the 8 or if he tries to go around him and make the pass for himself. That's going to determine which of these race cars ends up in the lead in a couple of laps here.
It's certainly going to be an interesting battle because we have 3 cars with 3 different manufacturers battling for the lead here in Indianapolis, and the draft is so key here that you're going to want to be in or get behind these guys that are trying to keep their positions. You're going to want to be behind them to take advantage of that slipstream. And Ortiz is looking to make a move there on Thomas, but he settles back in line. Remember, Thomas has not won since Pikes Peak back in 2020. That was a very long time ago. So Thomas is really itching to get back to victory lane because it's been a long time coming for him. He hasn't had the best of seasons. He's had a couple top 10s, but nowhere near the success I'm sure he wants. But Ortiz is making a move for 2nd on Thomas, and it looks like they're going to remain side by side heading off into turn 2.
Yeah, down into turn 2, it looks like the 91 isn't going to have the run. The 8 car really good on the outside right there. Got a good run, and now the 91 is going to have to slip in behind. So that effectively only lost them time to the leader, which is an unfortunate turn for that battle.
Speaking of battles, we've got one here for 8th position. Bobo Jones and Zachary Fitzwater, both in Dodges. They're the highest running Dodges in this race with 8 and 9. And actually, Fitzwater started all the way back in 17th position, so he's gained 8 positions so far, while Bobo Jones started in 7th. He's lost 1. But Fitzwater making some real gains on the field. Roberto Kern Jr. back here in 10th. Anderson Reed started 10th. He's running 11 in that Menards Toyota. And Henry Brown and Jeff Bolton both started in the top 5, but they have drifted back to 12th and 13th in this race, respectively. Still good runs for both of them, but I'm sure they would have wanted more, especially considering they started this race very high up in the field, as you see Reed and Brown start to battle it out for the 11th position. Brown takes a little peek, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as Justin Hutchinson now closes in on the back bumper of Jeff Bolton. Hutchinson really needs to gain time on Jared Polansky to help hopefully try and retake that points lead away, because that battle for the points lead has been really interesting to keep an eye on between these two. And you see Cody Goforth, after another disappointing outing at Kentucky, he really wants to get back into the swing of things, especially get back into the top 30 in owners points. He was there for a long time, fell out of it after Paris, and he really wants to get back in there. Stephen Gale running in 16th, Lane Sanders 17th, Arthur Xavier, Miles Mashburn, and then this battle for 20th between Diego Yepes and Crispin Vargas, who won at Pocono a few weeks ago. And then you have the 2 Royal Performance Motorsports cars back there doing battle, as you see Joshua Michaels lose a position there. But there you see Nelson Reeves, who's actually dropped back since I mentioned him a minute ago. He was running in the top 13, now he's back outside the top 20. So Reeves has plenty of time to make up this race. We still have 40 laps to go. As you see Patrick Smith and Jake McMillan making drives up through the field. Smith started 36th, and McMillan started dead last after making an engine change. So McMillan making very solid drives to the field as J.D. Martin runs right behind him. Jeffrey Finguy not quite where we expected him to run today, but there he is running back in the high 20s ahead of Ricky Freeman Jr. having a down day for Finish Line Motorsports out of Richard Herman. And then this group of four, led by Blair in the 19, Michael McCuskey, Glenn Nixon, and Daniel Bouchard in a backup car. They immediately fan out side by side for this battle, which I believe is for around 31st. And Blair's going to actually lose 3 spots here. I remember talking about her at Kentucky and saying how it's amazing how a car can go from contending for wins one week to finish falling back to the midfield next week. But this is a whole nother story. She does have a much better outlook for 2022 than Ricky Freeman Jr. does. So if there's anyone likely to go at that team, it's the 01. Because you see J.Q. Halleck running in 36th position. William Brock runs 38, or he's 37th ahead of Earl Sear, doing double duty this weekend for Royal Performance Motorsports in 38th. And of Ryan Soper, Brandon Beal, Allison Rose running in the 40th position. Actually, Allison Rose now running in 41st because Beal managed a passer coming off of turn 2. So Rose running 31st, 41st. Ben McDonald's 42nd, 1 lap down. And that is a very long-winded run through the field here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're at lap 23 of 60. Andres Molina continues to lead, and behind him, it's a very tight battle for second and third between Nick Ortiz and Henry Thomas. They have the Ford and the Chevrolet right behind them.
Yeah, you got to take a drink or something after that. We got Molina leading this thing here, and you know he's just been hitting his marks every single lap. That's what keeps him out front. He's had some challenge from behind with the 91 and the 8, who are both pretty equal in how fast they are right now and how much they're able to gain. And as you can see, they're gaining yet again on the leader. But that 71 car, he's just able to nail it every single corner, every single lap, and that's what's keeping him out front. So the 91 is starting to catch up a little bit, and I think that of the 2 of those cars, the 91 is going to be the one that is going to make a move here. I've seen that he is more aggressive so far in this race. Of course, he came from 6th to 2nd, which after hearing that amazing run through the field, we saw there are a couple more stories where there are people gaining upwards of 10 positions in this race. So, you know, it's great that there's so much passing at this track, and it's great that that we've got some aggressive drivers to make it exciting for us.
Remember, Molina was just a few short miles from winning at Monza, quite possibly the most famous racetrack in Europe, but that win was taken away from him by Stephen Hunter making a last lap pass. Molina finished 2nd that day. So Molina really wants to get his first career win, and there would be no place better to do it than the most famous racetrack on Earth, let alone Europe. This is the most famous track anywhere in Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As we look back at Stephen Hunter, he's managed to get around Kevin Carter and Sam Donato to run in the 4th position. Hunter has had some good luck on road courses. He's had good runs on super speedways. He's run good at short tracks. He's run good pretty much everywhere, and that's why he's the defending champion. He's got 6 career wins, and although he's yet to get any on the big tracks like this at Indianapolis, he's got one at Daytona, but that's a super speedway. That's a completely different mindset. As Hunter makes a move on Ortiz for 3rd, and it looks like he's going to take it. So I believe Stephen Hunter's actually got the best car on the track right now.
Yeah, you know, and that's not surprising to me at all. Stephen Hunter, he just always seems to be up there at the end of these things. That's kind of how he is, you know. He just kind of lurks around for the whole day, and then at the end of the race, he's up there up front competing for the win. So you can never count that 51 car out.
And he's going to try and dethrone Molina for a 2nd time this season. And remember that thrilling race at Monza where Hunter managed to nose out Molina by a car length and a half a car length, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And a drag race to the line. That race was plenty exciting for us to see. But now it's the big stage in Indianapolis, and Hunter has taken 2nd place from Henry Thomas. So this 51 car is on a tear, and I believe it won't be long until he starts knocking on the door of the lead between himself and his rival in Molina.
I absolutely agree. You know, this 51 car, I just watched him pass the people who have been as fast as the leader all day. So we'll see if the 51 can take the challenge to the 71, because we haven't seen anybody do it quite yet. This will be really fascinating to see if he can. And of course, you know, Stephen Hunter, he's the man. He's the guy to beat every single week. And as long as you're ahead of him, you're doing something right.
We're closing in on halfway. We're at lap 28 now. Half distance is at lap 30. So Molina has led every lap so far. This is the most lap. He's led more laps today than he's led all season long up to this point in his first 14 races. He's only led 25 laps total. He's already led 27 here today, and I'm sure he wants to lead that last one, but he's got to get through these remaining 33 laps or so, and he's got to worry about that 51. He's closing in at a very rapid pace.
Yeah, the 51 is getting there, and of course he's also in the draft right now, but I have a feeling Stephen Hunter, he's got enough experience, he's had enough time doing this, he knows how to set up the runs and make it happen here, and not to say that others in this race don't, but I do believe that Stephen Hunter, he's the guy that's going to pass you if anybody's going to pass you, and especially he's also running a Toyota, so he's got pretty similar equipment there, and this is going to be a battle once he gets there.
The Kings Motorsports Toyota and the Revolution Racing Toyota run 1-2 in this field. They're different organizations, but they share the same power plant, and I'm sure that's going to play a factor in who wins this race, because Hunter closes the gap on Molina a little bit, but as you can see, he has to let off a little bit coming into turn 4 and onto the long front straightaway. That's going to allow Molina to get some distance, but then again, Hunter has that draft. He could get up towards a 225 now. As the tires start to wear, that top speed will go down a little bit, but it'll easily still be above 220 miles per hour. They barrel it off into turn 1. Hunter continues to stay about a quarter second behind, and Andres Molina leads at the halfway point of the Brickyard 400.
Yeah, this is a really fascinating race so far. You know, 71. There's been a lot of passing, but the 71 car has stayed ahead of everybody since the very beginning. You know, he started on the pole, and he was able to stay right up there. And Sam Donotto started on the outside pole, and he's fallen back to 5th place, and he hasn't been able to make any progress after that. After he got passed by just about everybody on the outside lane, so it's a really interesting dynamic. You know, like I said earlier today, it's like a chess match where everybody's always calculating and planning and trying to see if and when they're able to make the move and when they have the run and how much speed they're carrying in the corners, because you know, they're not easy corners. All these drivers make it look easy, but it's not particularly easy to get through these corners well, just because they're so flat, and you have to nail the line every single time, and you don't really want to touch that concrete, that lighter gray section on the bottom, because that'll make you spin right around. So you know, it's a tough track, and it's really you have to have calculations in your head for the whole time. So we're just over halfway through, and now it's time to start thinking about how are you going to win this race coming into the closing laps.
And Andres Molina now has locked down the bonus point for most laps led. It is a critical point for Molina because he's currently sitting just outside the top 12 in points in the playoff spot. As we got caution on the racetrack at lap 32, pace car is off. You see smoke in turn 3, and it looks like it was Joshua Michaels that was involved in this one. You can see heavy damage on the back of his Toyota in this field. Doesn't look like anyone else was involved, but the caution flag is out, and I believe this will give a prime opportunity for everybody to come down pit road and make their one and only pit stop and get to the end of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they've made it this far into the race, over halfway, so if they pit right now, mathematically they'll be able to make it to the end very easily. But I am curious to see what has happened here, and if all of those cars in the back are involved, or if it's just the one. You see the skid marks on the outside there. I believe this is turn
3.
Turn 3. Okay, yeah, turn 3 right there. So going into turn 3, that's a hard spot to crash if it was that area right there. You know, that's a really high speed section of the track. You're on the brakes, so I guess that at some point soon we will find out, maybe after the pit stops, which look to be happening right now. And as we expected, everybody's coming down to the pits to get some service on their great race cars.
And coming down pit road, you can see the whole field snaking their way off of turn 4 down this long and very narrow pit road here at Indianapolis. We've seen plenty of incidents happen here in the past. I remember one race where there was a car that got completely demolished in an accident on pit road. As you see, Ryan Soper stay out, but he's one lap down in that 23 car, so that's to be expected. He'll come in the next time by, as well as Ben McDonald. He'll stay on the racetrack as well at pit the next time around. But looking back at these pit stops, it'll be interesting to see, as Justin Hutchinson's going to try some strategy. It looks like he only took 2 tires on that number 10, and it looks like Stephen Hunter is actually going to get out ahead of Andres Molina. This is going to be an interesting restart when we get to it.
Yeah, this will be an interesting start. I'm very, very curious about that call for 2 tires, but we have more important issues at hand. It looks like we're about to get a replay of what has happened to the 26 car that brought out this yellow flag.
So here is Joshua Michaels. He's running down in about 27th versus Jeffrey Finguy, who I think gets in the back of him. Yep, sends him off into the corner, and that's thankfully not as bad of an impact as it could have been. He went in back first, which is always a good sign. There's a lot of crumple in that area. You see a lot of cars dive to the bottom to get around him, so he should be able to continue in this race. Actually, he should be able to continue in this race relatively easily, because he doesn't have that. He has a lot of rear end damage, but that's not going to affect him, I believe, as badly as it would have on the front end, because that's a lot of engine stuff up there. One more angle as we take a look at this accident between Finguy and Michaels. He just sends it off into the corner. It's never a good opportunity to crash, but if you're gonna crash, it's one of the best places to have it happen, and especially to the rear end of the car. Get it in front as Joshua Michaels powers off away into the distance and gets his repair work done. And as replay, looks like we're already underway. The restart's already happened, and Justin Hutchinson has scooted out to the lead ahead of, with Ryan Soper out ahead of them on the tail end of the lead lap. But here comes Stephen Hunter onto the back of Hutchinson, and it looks like as they come through 3 and 4, Hutchinson has got a problem on his number 10, and he's peeling off. Could it be a loose wheel on that number 10? He only took 2 tires. Could one of them be loose? He ducks onto the pit lane, and this is going to cost Justin Hutchinson a huge amount of time and a lot of points in the battle with Jared Polansky in that points battle. This is going to cost the 10 big time as Stephen Hunter now takes the lead at the Brickyard 4.
That is such a shame, you know. I mean, an excellent strategy call. It was going to be very interesting to see what that car was able to do with only 2 tires, but then to have a mistake. Oh, what a frustrating situation for Justin Hutchinson. That's just a shame. But now we've got a battle, and it's the 71 car for the first time in this race running in dirty air behind the 51. And, of course, they're both really in dirty air because Soper is ahead of the 2 of them at the tail end of the... Oh, in fact, he's still 1 lap down.
Yeah, he would go 2 down if they get past him. Here's a move coming into turn 1. Molina gets underneath Hunter. The dirty air isn't affecting him that much, but he has to back off and give Stephen Hunter a little bit of space, and Hunter retains the lead. And Molina just set the new fastest lap in a race, a 46.47. That is an incredible time. The 10th ahead of Sam Donato's fastest lap, and 3/10 ahead of anybody else in the field. So Molina is flying through this field, but he's still got to get around Stephen Hunter in their battle for the lead of this race as they lap Soper. And Jared Polansky is also starting to close in. Remember, he won Kentucky on a contrarian strategy. He's on the same strategy as the leaders this time around. But can he win it on sheer speed? We'll see if his teammate plays nice with him here in the closing stages.
You know, I mean, you look at Stephen Hunter and Jared Polansky, and it's like, of course they're teammates, you know, but it really, that's one of the biggest rivalries we have. Those 2 drivers are 2 of the best drivers in this field, and they always end up battling with each other. So I love it when Hunter and Polansky get the opportunity to race with each other. But man, that Molina in the middle there, he is going to be a tough cookie here in the end of this race, because he has led a lot of this race. It's an oval track. He's feeling great, you know, and he just wants to win this thing. I can sense it. I can feel it. He's going to do everything in his power to get back ahead of that 51 car and make sure that Stephen Hunter and Jared Polansky battle for second instead of the win.
I should have specified it's Molina and Polansky that are teammates. Hunter drives for Revolution Racing, while the other two drive for Polansky's Kings Motorsports team. But it's still a thrilling battle between these three Toyotas. And actually, there's a fourth Toyota in fourth position, Kevin Carter. So the Toyotas are running 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. With another one, with two more running 7th and 9th. So Toyotas have 6 of the top 10 locked down right now. This is a very good day for the Japanese manufacturer, but right now, Stephen Hunter is looking for his first win since Phoenix in race number 6. That was 9 races ago. So Hunter really wants to get back to victory lane. Molina looking to get into victory lane for the first time in his career.
Yeah, you know, in the Toyotas, that just makes sense. The Toyotas this season have been really fast on just about all the tracks, but especially at the big tracks, you know, the mile and a half, where you need a lot of just raw speed and power from the motors. They've just been stronger this season than a lot of other manufacturers. So, you know, it makes sense that they're all running up front here at a track where speed is such an important factor.
How about this run from Cody Goforth in the 53.95 Racing Dive? He's running up in the 8th position. This would be his first top 10 of the season. And he stated he's been unhappy with how he's been performing this season. His team has been letting him down, he says. But he's running very strongly up in the 8th position as we got a battle for 2nd between teammates Polansky and Molina. But Goforth having the drive of his season so far here in Indy. He's running 8th. And he's running pretty solidly ahead of Stephen Gale and Zachary Fitzwater. So a very solid outing by that 60 car as Polansky gets past Molina. And you can see Hutchinson coming out ahead of the leaders. But he is on the tail end of the lead lap. These guys are going to chase him down in a hurry. But Molina gets past Polansky again to retake the 2nd position. They're not racing like teammates at all because they know they want to track down Stephen Hunter and get the lead back with 20 laps to go here at the Brickyard.
Yeah, they're racing pretty hard with each other right now. They know that this race is coming to a close. They know there might not be another caution to group everybody up, and this is going to be the battle for the win in this thing. And of course, they're catching up to that 10 car because they've got the draft. So it'll be fascinating to see if they do catch him and where they catch him to see if he impacts the finish of this race. Because we've seen with lap cars before, and here comes Molina to the inside of Stephen Hunter for the lead going into turn 3.
And he's got it. Molina back into the lead. He's pulling a bit of a revenge on Hunter for what happened at Monza, but put Molina back in the lead of this race with 20 laps to go. Now Polansky's taking a look at Stephen Hunter for 2nd position. What will Polansky do if he gets the 2nd position? Will he play a good teammate and let Molina and hold off Hunter to let Molina take his first win? Or will he try and go for the win himself as he battles so closely to that 51 of Hunter?
Yeah, they're sending it into the corners. I cannot see any circumstance during this race where the 18 car is going to play nice with any of these guys. You know, they all want to win the race. They all want to have it for themselves. You know, as good as it is to see your teammate win, it's only good to see your teammate win on a day that you didn't have a shot to win. So I don't think that Jared Polansky is going to play nice. I think he's going to race hard to the finish of this thing, but he's got to get through that 51 car first before he's able to have a shot at the leader, Andres Molina.
And it looks like these three have separated themselves from 4th place Kevin Carter. These will be the 3 cars battling for victory, barring another yellow flag. But we're on lap 43 of 60. We've got Molina leading Hunter and Polansky in their battle for 2nd position. Looking back through the rest of the field, see where your favorite driver is running. How about McMillan started in last? He's up to 18th. So he's gained a lot. He's the biggest mover of the race so far, up in the 18th position. He was going to have a good run at the Indy Road Course yesterday, but blew an engine there. That's why they changed the engine on the Superstar car here today. But this is a very good round. Unfortunately, on the other end of the spectrum, you have Jeff Bolton, who started 5th and is currently running in the 37th position. That is just not what that 38 car wanted to see, especially considering how far back he's in the points. As Molina comes up to try and lap Hutchinson, but he has to stay behind him. This is going to hurt because you've got Molina, you've got Hunter and Polansky in their battle for 2nd. They're closing the gap. As long as Hutchinson stays ahead, Molina's going to have a hard time fending off these two behind him.
Yeah, and this has got to be pretty bitter for that 10 car too. Of course, he would have been here had that wheel not been loose going into the pits after the caution. You know, he had to make an unscheduled stop there. We saw it from the lead, and that's really going to be tough for him. But now the 18 car is taking the lead on the inside, and Stephen Hunter's going to try to follow. It's not going to be enough, and the 71's going to sneak to the outside. It's side by side down the front stretch for the lead of the race in the Brickyard.
Imagine if that had been the final lap, and we would have had a thrilling finish to this Brickyard 400. We're still in store to get a very exciting finish here at Indianapolis, because these three cars are putting on a show for the over 350,000 fans that have gathered here in attendance today. But there's still 15 laps to go, and anything can still happen, and it usually does in the One-Up Superstar Series. As you see Thomas and Carter battling for fourth behind these guys, they're actually starting to close the gap a little bit to these three as Hutchinson holds them up a little bit. So this could be a 5-car battle for the win if we're not careful here.
For sure, you know, and they're all stuck behind that 10 car right now. That's all it is. And of course, the 10 car is running a really good pace right now. It's not the same pace as the leaders, but it's a good pace, good enough that makes it so that these guys aren't easily passing him. We'll see what happens into turn one. And
contact!
Oh my
Between
gosh.
Molina and Hutchinson. Molina's had enough of running behind this 10 car. He puts the chrome horn to the back of the Blue Cross Blue Shield Mustang, and Molina powers around Hutchinson and puts the 10 one lap off the pace in the 40th position here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Polansky now tries to find a way around. We've got 15 laps to go, and Molina has led all but, I believe, 2 laps today. He's really looking for a solid day to try and cement himself into the winner's circle for the very first time in this series. But he's still got a long way to go, because those two behind him are actually getting held up by that 10 a little bit.
Yeah, they are being held up a ton by the 10 car, and now the 10 has cleared the 2 of them. This is going to be really bad news for the rest of the field, because the 71 is going to be, not only will he have a car between him and the rest of the field, he's going to have a huge gap because of that 10 car, and now Hunter and Polansky are running side by side, and despite the draft cuts from behind, they're going to lose a ton of time here for sure. They're going to be at least a second behind coming to the line this time by. I mean, this is going to be a massive deficit with only, it's going to be like 12 laps left in this thing at the end of this lap. So we'll see what happens, but that is a massive advantage for the 71 car.
And look at what's happened. That's brought Carter and Thomas back into the picture as well. As you see, the margin of the lead is 0.8 of a second there. It's a very big gap. But we've seen Ortiz close the gap, like a gap that big before, and we've seen that Polansky and Hunter are perhaps better cars than the 91. So looking back to the field, you can see Miles Mashburn's made his way up into the 8th position after starting 18th, so he's gained 10 spots on the day. He gets past Cody Goforth, who's still running in the top 10 in 9th position, and he is well clear of Stephen Gale for 10th. So Goforth can just run these last 13 laps with no mistakes. He'll have his first top 10 of the season and the first top 10 all season for that race organization as a whole. So a very good run for him. I keep talking about it, but it deserves to be talked about. He's had a rough season so far. A top 10 would really help him as he contemplates his future for 2022. He said he doesn't really like what his team's head is. And Team Motors take notice, like I said the other day with Mark Davey in the Nitro National Series. Cody Goforth is a real talent, and it would be a shame if no one picks him up. As we see this battle between Zachary Fitzwater and how about Patrick Smith? He started 36, he's running 12, and now making a move on Fitzwater for 11. Patrick Smith is notorious for qualifying poorly, but charging his way through the field. Remember, he started 31st at Kentucky, and he finished 3rd there. Oh, and McDonald. Oh, makes a bit of contact with the 07. McDonald's not even on the lead lap in that 12 car. He's running 41st right now. But Smith gets around for 11th. That's a very good run for him. As you see Roberto Crown Jr. running right behind them. Christian Vargas 14th. And then this battle between Daniel Bouchard, who started back in a backup car, and Kyle Vaughters, the Armory Digital winner. This is the battle for 15th, and it looks like Bouchard is going to take that. Nelson Reeves has gained a little bit. He's up to 17th now. J.D. Martin running 18th. McMillan 19th. Henry Brown's faded 20th after starting 4th. And then Goldbor's teammate is back there, Richard Herman, the team owner of this organization. He actually, I should correct my statement from a little bit ago. This team does have a top 10 this season. It came from Herman at Monza. So they have one top 10, but Goldbor's looking to add a second here. As you see, look for the rest of the field. Freeman Jr. running 22nd ahead of Brock, Yepes, and Xavier running 23rd through 25th. Bobo Jones had a slow stop, and he's been mired in the pack ever since. He's running 26th right now. And looking back, yeah, you see Jones just had a rough stop. Lane Sanders 27th ahead of Jeffrey Finguy in the 28th position. Anderson Reed's dropped 19 spots. He's running 29th ahead of Blair in the 19 and 30th. And we got a lot of cars back here. We don't expect to really be running up here. We got Michael McCuskey in 32nd. He was fast in practice. Man, it's just tough when you got these guys. You got Glenn Mixon, JQ Halleck, who's had a solid season up to this point. They're running in 33rd. Glenn Mixon 34th. Earl Sear back in 35th. Ahead of, like we said, Jeff Bolton in 36th. He started 5th. He's lost a ton of positions here, possibly due to a slow stop as well. Same with Bobo Jones. Allison Rose runs 37th ahead of Brandon Beal. Joshua Michaels was the last car on the lead lap after his crash damage. He runs 39th. And then Justin Hutchinson, Ben McDonald, and Ryan Silver are the cars one lap down. As we have now 9 laps to go here at Indianapolis, Andres Molina's got the lead, but Jared Polansky's starting to close it down. It would really sting for Molina if he gets beaten to the line again, but by his own team owner this time around.
Yeah, you know, and I believe that you've earned yourself another sip of water for another run through the field. Very, very well done there. But you're absolutely right. That 18 car is catching up, and as soon as he gets there and starts battling with the 71, those two cars that are in 3rd and 4th right now, they're going to catch up, and it's a bunch of Toyotas up there, so it's going to be the battle of the Toyotas with 3 different teams as well. So it's going to be an interesting thing once that happens, and we're coming to the close. I mean, it is absolutely time to go. If you were holding off or you were saving anything, now's the time to use it. You got to go, and I believe that Jared Polansky has gotten that message. He is catching up.
He's now 3/10 of a second behind Andres Molina in this battle for the lead it's been brewing for a long time coming. Molina looking for his first career win. Jared Polansky looking for win number 5 of his career. But right now, it's Molina. Polansky's closing the gap as they come down the back straightaway. And next time by, it'll be 6 laps to go at the stripe. But Polansky's closing that gap ever so slowly to Molina. And I can only imagine this battle is going to heat up really quickly. We can see a Prost versus Senna here going into turn 1 if they're not careful. But right now, it looks like they're keeping their space for now. And we have 6 laps to go here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, you know, and I said it earlier, and I stand by this statement. I do not believe that the 18 car is going to play nice if he gets the opportunity. You know, and of course, he's not going to wreck him. He's not going to spin him out to win the race or anything, I don't think. But, you know, the 18 car, he's not going to just let the 71 have it. He's going to put up a fight. He's going to try to pass him for the lead, and he's going to try to win this race, you know. So it's no time to slouch around right now, and it looks like the 71 car, in fact, is pulling away a little bit, which is surprising because he's got no draft. He's got no partners out there, and the 18 has the draft of the 71 car. So we'll see what happens here coming to just 5 laps to go. And, you know, it's going to be close. It's going to be really close. I think that maybe once the 18 slots in ahead of the 51 and the 70, they might, as a trio, be able to catch up to the 71 car, and we'll have a 4-car battle for the win. But it all depends on the timing. Will it happen? And at what point? You know, if there's only 1 lap, if there's only half lap, there might not be enough time for these guys to make any moves. So it's all going to depend on the timing. It's going to depend on the run. It's going to depend on mistakes. And we haven't seen the 71 make any mistakes today. He's always nailed it through every single corner. and you know, it's just gonna be exciting. We're coming to the close of this race, and I'm getting pumped.
We coming to 4 laps to go. Kevin Carter makes a move on Hunter for 3rd position. They're tired of waiting around. They realize the battle's going to be between the Kings Motorsports teammates. So Carter now gets around Hunter for 3rd, and the gap's increased at the front, 0.8 of a second now. With just 4 laps to go, can Polansky close that gap in time to get to the lead? Because he's only got 3.5 laps to get there. He's going to need to turn on the afterburners if he's going to have any hope of catching up to his teammate in the 71. The Venezuelan trying to get his first career win and just cement himself as a true threat. He's always been good on the road courses, but he wants to prove that he can do good on ovals as well, and he's showing it so far. He's led over half this race as we come to 3 laps to go at the line.
You know, and I'm thinking about Kevin Carter. He's probably sitting there in that race car thinking, boy, I just got up to 3rd place, and I might be able to catch that 18 car before long, because the 71 has said goodbye, fellow race car drivers. I'm going to see you later, and I'm going to go out there and win this race. That's what he said, because he's a 2nd and a 3rd ahead of everybody. You know, this is, I mean, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen somebody in this whole race pull out ahead like this. Man, oh man, that 71 car is strong. He is turning on at the end of this race.
We've got coming to 2 laps to go in the Brickyard 400. Andres Molina looking for that first career win. He's oh so close. He's 5 miles away from his first career win, and he's got a seconds lead over his teammate Jared Polansky. 2 laps to go at the line from Indianapolis.
And we'll see the gap has dwindled a little bit, but it's not nearly enough up to 18 if he wants to have a chance to catch that 71 car. And of course he does want to have a chance, but I don't know if he's going to be able to. He's not gaining enough time per lap, and those guys behind him have not caught him to be able to push him. So this is going to be it. This is the final lap that they're approaching right now. Coming through these final 2 corners, they're going to get the white flag, and the 71 car might just be on a Sunday drive for one more time around the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Coming off a turn 4 for Andres Molina. He sees the white flag in the flagman's hand. We got white flag in the air one more time around from the Brickyard, and Andres Molina's lead is staying steady. It's gone down by another 10th, but he doesn't mind that as long as he keeps the lead. For about a second or more, he's in the clear, coming through turn 2 for the final time. Andres Molina, so good on the road course, but he wants to prove that he can shine on the ovals. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Andres Molina, the driver out of Venezuela, looking to bring his fans something they can really enjoy as he runs 3 and 4 for the final time. The fans on their feet, coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. Andres Molina, the road course driver, is gonna win on an oval for the first time in his career, and he's gonna do it on the biggest stage of them all, off of turn 4 for the final time. Andres Molina is the inaugural winner of the 1UP Superstar Series Brickyard 400.
Wow, what a performance from that 71 car today. An absolute domination of the field, and man, oh man, that is so good to see for Andres Molina. This is just an absolutely fantastic day. What a race.
Jared Polansky comes home 2nd for the 6th time this season. Kevin Carter comes home 3rd. Stephen Hunter comes across 4th. Henry Thomas rounds out the top 5, and then you'll have to go a long ways back to find 6th place Nick Ortiz, who finished just ahead of Sam Donotto, and 7th, a good run for the Nitro National regular. Miles Mashburn, 8th. Cody Goforth gets his first top 10 of the season, and P9 ahead of Patrick Smith, who got around Stephen Gale. He had gained 26 spots on the day. He rounds out the top 10. In a historic day here at Indianapolis, the first ever Brickyard 400 is complete, and the road course ace, who thought he'd never really shine on the ovals, gets his first career win on such a track. And now, with a couple of road courses left to go on the schedule, this is going to set the stage for Molina to be a dark horse title contender, because he's going to vault himself into the playoffs with this ride.
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of tracks that race car is going to excel at on the schedule, you know, and I really just thought that this was a great race. But that 71 car becomes dangerous as soon as you say that he can win on ovals, he can win on road courses, and Boy, oh boy, what a day today. What a day at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Just a fantastic place and a fantastic race to complement it. So we're closing the history book, and we've added our chapter today. That's pretty cool to see here in the One Up Racing Series.
And next week, we return to where it all began in 2021, the high banks of the Pensacola Superspeedway. It's going to be the night race at Pensacola. You're not going to want to miss it. Round 16, we're officially halfway through the 2021 season. We hope you've enjoyed the first half so far, and we hope you'll also stick around for the second half as well, because the playoffs are looming, a lot of good tracks coming up, and the playoff battle is heating up ever so slightly, with Andres Molina locking up the win today. So from Duke Anzac and from myself as well, we're going to say goodbye from the legendary Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the biggest congratulations of the season, potentially, to Andres Molina. He gets his first career win in the One Up Superstar Series, and he does it at the biggest stage in the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He is the winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.